On paper, a show about elite 1980s show jumpers and regional television feels like a niche nostalgia trip. Yet the series arrived as an absolute critical heavyweight, easily earning a 95% score on Rotten Tomatoes. The series leans into the specific, indulgent language of Jilly Cooper's novels, full of massive big hair, secret, scandalous love affairs, and extreme high-gloss excess. The show uses these 1980s tropes to stage a satirical look at Thatcherite England. Every party functions as a negotiation, and every affair serves as a calculated power play. The story centers on a high-stakes corporate war to control a regional independent television franchise. In 1980s Britain, television stood as the primary cultural battleground. Securing a franchise meant owning the medium that defined the nation's values and social hierarchy. In Retcher, the arrival of new media money forces the local gentry into a proximity they find both necessary and repulsive. Rupert Campbell Black represents the hereditary elite. A former Olympian and current MP, he treats social status as a birthright rather than an achievement. Despite the public scandals and the effortless power, he lives in a state of profound isolation, spending his days on a massive estate with only his dogs for company. His direct opposition is Tony Battingham, the managing director of Corinium Television. Tony is shaped by his grammar school background and a desperate need for validation. He views the upper classes with a mixture of envy and contempt, driving himself to dominate a social circle that still views him as an outsider. This rivalry functions as a proxy war, pitting two incompatible systems of British influence against one another in a fight for supremacy. Tony weaponizes Corinium's airwaves to publicly dismantle Rupert's reputation, turning his television station into a tool for class warfare. To secure his network's future, he recruits Declan O'Hara, a principled journalist who finds his moral boundaries tested by the cutthroat nature of Tony's management. He also hires Cameron Cook, an American producer. As a black woman in a room of posh, judgmental executives, she is forced to remain brilliant just to maintain her seat at the table. Rupert counters by seducing Cameron and stealing Corinium's confidential franchise proposal, escalating a personal grudge into institutional warfare. This theft leads to the formation of Venturer. Rupert and Declan join forces with a millionaire to launch a hostile takeover of Tony's station. The creation of Venturer shifts the stakes from a local scandal to a national battle over who gets to narrate the future of the country. The conflict culminates at the Independent Broadcasting Authority hearing. Both groups present competing visions for the future of British television. Tony's bid relies on a cynical, profit-driven model. Under public scrutiny and corporate betrayal, his psychological control finally breaks. Venturer wins by subverting the decade's greed. They pitch television as a community-focused, modern fireplace, a medium that prioritizes local connection over tabloid sensation. Cameron's eventual defection to Venturer and her physical rejection of Tony marks the moment his control over the narrative and his staff finally dissolves. Venturer secures the franchise because they realize that in 1980s Britain, institutional power only lasts as long as you can convince people your story is the one worth watching. The series succeeds by treating the social anxieties of its characters with absolute gravity. By placing a corporate merger alongside a broken marriage, the series demonstrates power mechanics are identical in the boardroom and the bedroom. It rebuilt 80s archetypes with class anxiety, professionals terrified a single wrong move will cost them their network or social standing. Venturer may have won the battle of 1986, but with a second season arriving in 2026, we're reminded that the British class war is never truly settled. It just gets renewed for primetime.